Mercy is a good thing, right? You're supposed to show mercy to your enemies, and that's what makes you the good guy, not them. Well, what if a video game makes it really hard? Not just because of a moral quandary, maybe you really want revenge on that other guy, but what if it actively hurts you for doing the right thing? Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 games that punish you for showing mercy. Starting off with number 10, it's The Last of Us Part 2. This is probably one of the most common ways that games punish you for showing mercy, when you spare a surrendering enemy. Tons of games do this, but one of the more effective recent games to pull this trick on you is The Last of Us Part 2. Not clear exactly how it works, but generally if you manage to clear out an entire group with only one enemy left alive, then you wound but don't kill them, there's a chance they'll put down their guns and give up. If you're feeling merciful, then there's nothing stopping you from turning around and walking away. Turn your back on them though, they'll immediately get up and resume attacking you, so your only reward for showing mercy is a bullet in the back, which is dumb. Let's say you're in the apocalypse, you're trying to kill somebody, and they make it clear that you can't, even if you try. Instead of killing you, they don't kill you and walk away, and you're like, oh man, this person who got the upper hand on me once, I'm gonna get the upper hand on them. Oh, they got the upper hand on me again because they're the player character. What a dopey thing. But then again, nobody said that AI was smart. It's not an AI thing, I just wanted to say that. It's not really a surprise either. I mean, almost every game has enemies, and if they surrender, they almost all get back up and start attacking after a few seconds. If anything, it'd be more surprising if enemies actually did just surrender. Like, there's really no option here. You either kill them or knock them out, because if you spare them, you're just gonna get punished for it. And number 9 is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. About 2/3 of the way through the game, you return to the apex of the castle where you confront the Great Shinobi Owl, a master ninja who trained Sekiro and is basically his father figure. This guy basically taught your character everything he knows, so it's unsurprising that he's got almost as many tricks as you do, if not more. He'll counter your attack, he'll use trick weapons, he'll do other things, clever things. But one of his dirtiest tricks, it's about halfway through. After you take down his first life bar, the boss meter disappears, he gets on his hands and knees, and he begs for mercy. You might think the fight's over and just stand there, but if you do, he'll attack you while you're distracted, and to add insult to injury, he'll make fun of you for being gullible. However, the opposite is true if you see through it. If you're suitably ruthless and attack him while he's on the floor begging, the fight will resume and he'll compliment you for your cleverness for not falling for his trick. In this case, it's not hard to guess that he's trying to pull a fast one on you. I mean, he's called the Great Shinobi, a ninja whose whole thing is to win through any means necessary, so yeah. But I mean, he is your father figure, your dad-ish guy, so it makes sense to consider sparing him, but it's just not in the cards. At number 8 is Batman Arkham City. Eventually you'd think all these goons would just learn to leave Batman alone. I mean, it's one thing to assume you can beat him when you're out rolling with 15 other guys, but when you're just a single goon, they should really just accept their limitations and give up, because, I mean, he's Batman, you know? He's gonna totally whomp your ass. It sounds dirty, but it's really just Batman absolutely killing you, just not finishing the job. Most of the time, these idiots just attack Batman on sight, but in this one rare instance, they don't, at least not for a little while. When you return to the steel mill to confront the Joker after dealing with Mr. Freeze, you can find this little scene with 2 Joker goons torturing a Two-Face goon who's hanging over a pit of acid, or maybe just water, I don't know. Maybe Gotham's water is just deadly at all times now after the many villains who try to poison the water supply. Either way, long story short, they were gonna dunk that guy and Batman saves him.
Who'd have figured? Saved by the Batman.
What do you get as a reward for your good deed? I don't know, just a punch to the back of the head when you're not looking. You're not really in danger of actually dying. You're Batman, he's just a standard mook. You could take him down on a punch or two, but seriously, Batman just saved this guy's life, and instead of getting on his hands and knees and being like, oh man, thanks Batman, instead of doing that, he punches Batman in the back of the head. Like, there's your standard ungrateful NPCs in games. Like, that's a common thing, but this guy is much dumber than that. At number 7 is Elden Ring. You'd think a longtime player from software games would, at this point, just kill patches on sight. Every time you run into this dude, he ends up screwing you over, double-crossing you in some way, and most of the time he gets away scot-free. Rarely do you actually get the chance to show him mercy, though. Mostly you're just suppressing the urge to stab him in the face. So I guess, that might be in itself somewhat of a mercy. But in Elden Ring, you actually do fight him. If you do enough damage, he begs off.
Wait, please! I surrender! White flag and all! Well, finally come round, have you? I knew you would. You're a man of reason. True and true.
But in this case, he's a little bit smarter than the normal backstabbing NPC, because he doesn't just wait a few seconds and resume attacking again like you might expect. From this point, he's playing the long game. He seems relatively harmless by now, but beware, he will find multiple ways to make your life harder as the game progresses. There is, of course, his teleporting treasure chest, but that's really more your fault if you fall for it. He gives you bad advice, like saying you should get captured by the abductor virgins, which teleport you to a frustrating lava chamber that's difficult to escape from. That's pretty bad. But his most annoying trick occurs at Mount Gelmir. Here he lives a trail of rainbow stones that lure you to the edge of a cliff, which if you approach will trigger a cutscene where he kicks you down into the acid-filled crevasse below.
Well, if you really are that gullible...
All this pain and suffering just because you didn't kill him when you had the chance. That's Patches for you. And number 6 is No More Heroes Bad Girl, the number 2 ranked assassin, and the penultimate boss of the game. Bad Girl looks like a princess but acts like a psychopathic killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa better. That comes into play in her boss fight, where if you do enough damage to her, she'll start feigning defeat, dropping to her knees and crying. We're 5 entries deep here, so you know what the score is. She's playing possum. If you stand too close to her, she'll she'll retaliate, duh.
Now die, you bastard!
You know, instant kill attack. Not cool. Bad Girl. As if the name doesn't give away the game. But yeah, it's not good enough to just stop attacking her at this point. You have to physically get away, otherwise it's game over. You can try to attack her, but that doesn't work unless you notice the tell. Sometimes she's crying for real and lets go of the bat, but most of the time it's a fake out and she'll just kill you. It's one of those rare mercy punishments that's dangerous whether you know about it or not. She can transition into it pretty quickly and she'll kill you instantly when you're trying to get away. There's not really a lot of room to show mercy here, but the potential to get tricked is if you just linger too close. And that's pretty likely to happen the first time you face her because the radius of her attack isn't small. Like, even if you're expecting it, she can still catch you off guard. At number 5 is Mass Effect 3. In the Mass Effect games, most of the time Paragon equals best outcome, Renegade equals worst outcome, but it's not always the case. Sometimes getting the best possible outcome just isn't possible, or forces you to make some sacrifices you don't want to make. The perfect example of this sort of thing revolves around Rex, everyone's favorite frogman from the first game. In Mass Effect 3, everything you do is basically summed up with the Galactic Readiness rating, which tallies up the assets you've managed to gather for the final battle with the Reapers. Oh boy. To get the best possible endings you want to score, but sometimes doing the right or merciful thing can have a negative effect on military strength. So let's go all the way back to Mass Effect 1, where the part you have to talk down Rex has an effect that is, let's just call it, massive. Most players are going to choose to spare him at this moment because if you don't, you lose him as a party member permanently because he's dead. Keeping Rex alive for the most part is good for Mass Effect 3, but if you want to get military support from both the Krogans and the Solarians at the same time, it's impossible to do with him still being alive. So the only way to get the maximum amount of military strength from that part of the game is for Rex not to be alive at this point. If he is, he'll figure out the Solarian plot and you'll lose all Krogan military support. There's a whole complicated reason for all this, but the basic gist is that if you show mercy to Rex in Mass Effect 1, it's very possible it'll come back and bite you in the ass in Mass Effect 3.
Rex, please. We can discuss this.
No more talk, Shepard. I've got to do this my way.
I don't think so, friend.
Again, demonstrating the massive effects of the decisions of the game in the trilogy of the Mass Effect. Xbox 360, baby! And number 4 is the Shin Megami Tensei series, a major part of this mythological mashup series of RPGs, which almost always involve Japanese high school students battling it out with a god and or the devil in an apocalyptic Tokyo, are negotiations. Randomly in the middle of a battle, instead of fighting, enemies will start talking. Sometimes they want you to give them something, they might threaten you, or sometimes they even beg for mercy after nearly being defeated. You're usually given the option of showing mercy for them, which can sometimes be beneficial, but most of the time isn't. That's true about just about anything these demons do. Seems like their decision making is basically arbitrary, so you never really know how they're going to respond to stuff. It really just boils down to the fact that majority of the time you show these idiots mercy and they'll just turn around and punish them more. It can be very frustrating when you're trying to get one of these guys to side with you, only for them to turn around and start attacking after you've already showered them with money and items, but that's how this works. These games are like that. They're unforgiving to a fault. But if you want to recruit more demons, you gotta put up with these nonsensical demands. Regardless of if you're being pragmatic or actually trying to be merciful, it doesn't really matter. These dumb demons will punish you no matter what. At number 3 is Grand Theft Auto 4. Most of the time, the good choices you make in Grand Theft Auto 4, they pay off. Not usually in major ways, but you're rarely worse off than when you started. At the end of the Holland Knights mission, the one you take for Francis McCreary, the crooked cop brother of Packy, where you're supposed to assassinate the small-time drug dealer Clarence Little, there's actually a few different ways to complete this mission, but if you actually want to spare the guy, then a frontal assault's the only way. You chase him up to the roof, and that's when you're given the option to either kill him or let him go.
Yo, man, you got me. Chill. I surrender. You wouldn't kill an unarmed man, would you?
Sparing him seems like the more forgiving option, but it will come back to bite you. If Clarence is alive, he'll eventually show up again as a random stranger, and when Nico talks to him, he assumes that Clarence has turned over a new leaf, but instead Clarence pulls out a gun and starts blasting.
Come on, man. Don't be a dick.
I might be a dick, but you're so...
It's pretty easy to get caught off guard and get killed here, but if you're at all prepared, then it's easy to just pull out a gun on your own and take him out. In the world of Grand Theft Auto, no good deed goes unpunished. And number 2 is Dark Souls 2. The Souls games are filled with NPCs that punish you for doing a kindness, but the Royal Sorcerer Navlan in Dark Souls 2 might be the worst. You find this guy locked up in a cell in Aldia's Keep. He's surrounded by warning messages. Don't pull the lever. Don't talk to this guy. But if you approach him, he seems totally harmless. Even his dialogue leads you to believe that you should help him. When you approach him, he just begs for you to stay away and that nothing good will come of helping him.
I have absolutely no intention of leaving here. Do not attempt to help me. Just let me sit here and wither quietly away.
In video game terms, that might as well be a gigantic neon sign saying, hey, help this guy, he's a worthy cause. In any other series, helping someone like this would be a no-brainer. All the message of warning are obviously just a fake out, but this is Dark Souls, so of course, pulling the lever and freeing this guy is the worst possible thing you could do. For one thing, freeing him cancels his quest line, but the real bad thing is that now, he's a full-blown invader.
By the very gods, what have you done? You've really done it. You'll never escape him.
He attacks you after freeing him, which is bad enough, but it doesn't stop there. He keeps attacking you as the game goes on, particularly at inconvenient times and places and around tough enemies, just to make your life harder. If you want the perfect example of how bleak and cynical these games are, look no further than this guy. Your reward for freeing a sobbing man trapped in a jail cell in a mad scientist keep isn't just one tough fight, it's a bunch of tough fights against a powerful magician who really wants you dead for the crime of helping him. And finally, at number 1, it's Tactics Ogre. Most of the time when games give you choices, they don't actually end up mattering that much, but if there's one game that bucks that trend, it's Tactics Ogre. At the end of the first chapter, the game hits you with what seems like a pretty cut and dry choice. The Duke orders you to kill 5,000 political prisoners. So do you follow those orders and, kill 5,000 political prisoners, or do you do the right thing and spare them? If you actually go through with it, then you go into chapter 2 with the law path, while if you defy orders, the chaos path begins instead. They're two completely different tracks. You'd think not slaughtering 5,000 innocent people is the obvious thing to do, but the game pretty significantly muddies the water. If I tried to explain the story, we'd be here all day, but the gist is that you defy your orders, you become a renegade, and you have little to no official support. When it comes time for the main character to take the throne in the end, it's highly unlikely that the people, including the minority group that you chose to spare, will trust you. It's actually more likely that they'll be suspicious of you because you're unpredictable, and you also spend most of the game hated by your former allies, and your enemies don't care one way or the other. You'd think there would be some way to expose the Duke's crimes, and you do eventually take him on, but it only makes things worse. The game basically endlessly punishes you for doing the right thing, but they save the ultimate punishment for last, because how does the story conclude if your chaos rating is too low? Then you're assassinated by the very same ethnic group you chose to spare all the way back at the beginning of the game. Hell of a reward for your mercy, huh? And that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time, right here on gameranx.